So it's a really beautiful afternoon to do another empties video.
Allow me to introduce myself.
Hi guys, it's Magali and welcome back to my channel. I make regular videos on beauty, fashion and lifestyle. So if you enjoy this type of content, please take a moment to hit the red subscribe button below this video and subscribe to my channel so that you never miss new content. So today I have yet another empties video. They are a YouTube staple, very old school kind of beauty video. I really enjoy doing them and I always do my empties category wise. So we're gonna do hair care, skincare. There is no makeup this time, so that category is missing. We do have body and of course miscellaneous, where other stuff that doesn't fit into any of the aforementioned categories goes. And what do you guys think of this crate? Isn't it cute? I'm kind of obsessed with the crate. I have it in two colors. They stack really nicely, and if you don't want it up, then it kind of folds down totally flat. So I think I'm gonna buy more crates. Less talking about the crate, more talking about the actual contents, I guess. So I'm gonna have timestamps for this video like always. If you would like to jump to any specific category, feel free to check the description bar. I also list each and every product I talk about and I link them if they are available to purchase online. And I will sometimes mention dupes or alternatives, so I will leave those also in the description bar below. Now that we've cleared that stuff up, let's just dive right in. The first category is always hair, and my hair is very different today. I'm actually back from a really fun shoot and I got professional hair and makeup done, and I never wear my hair straight. I used to back in the day. I don't remember the last time I've straightened my hair, you know. It's just a lot of work because my hair is naturally very wavy and I don't use heat anymore most of the time. I kind of don't recognize myself. What do you guys think of it? I like my natural hairstyle better, but I also like this as a change, and I also can't stop touching it. I don't do that, but my hair is wavy. I don't want to open out the waves. I have 3 shampoos and 1 hair oil also. So we'll start with the hair oil because you would put it on before you shampoo. Mamaearth onion hair oil. This looks like a tiny sample, but it's not. It's actually like a product that you can purchase, so it costs like 100 bucks. So onion oil is quite the rage recently amongst many different Indian brands. Like they're all doing their version of onion oil because it's supposed to stop hair fall. Now I don't know how far those claims really hold up, because hair fall can just be caused by so many different issues, and I feel like most of those issues are actually internal and cannot really be addressed by hair products. It was pretty stinky. All onion oils are probably going to be kind of stinky. It was thick and a little bit greasy. I couldn't really tell any kind of like difference or change. And now on to the shampoos. First I'm going to talk about the Head and Shoulders Supreme Scalp Soothing Shampoo for itchy scalp, and this is something I bought because I do have an itchy scalp quite a lot of the time, especially when it gets hot here, and then it's also very humid, so when I sweat and all, that is an issue I face, and it's probably related to the fact that I have eczema. So my skin is prone to those like itchy irritations. That's not really anything I can do about it. It's sort of like an autoimmune type thing, and you can just try to soothe the flare-ups. I didn't mind using this. It was kind of nice. It was a typical like pasty thick Head and Shoulders anti-dandruff shampoo consistency, and it did have a sort of cooling effect while you're shampooing it, but afterwards did it really create like more soothed scalp or calm scalp? Maybe a little bit, but nothing too dramatic. It does have SLS in it though, and I just recently decided that I'm gonna stop buying shampoos with SLS. People have been advising me to do that for a while, but finally I was like, yes, I'm gonna do it, because SLS or sodium lauryl sulfate is actually a powerful surfactant. So when you say surfactant, it's basically like a detergent that causes the foam in shampoo, and just detergents are not really kind to your scalp, so I think it's an ingredient best avoided. And I've noticed that a lot of Indian consumers are also becoming aware of this, and that's a good thing because the brands are starting to have SLS free shampoos more commonly, so that's amazing. That's why I won't be repurchasing this, because I'm gonna finish off the shampoos I have, but if I'm buying something new, it better be SLS free. I'm not sure if I can really recommend it. It was decent, but feels like a band-aid solution, you know, not something that will really make your scalp healthier. From L'Oreal, I have this Hair Spa Smooth Revival shampoo, which was just fine as a shampoo. I've had this for a while. I'm not sure if this is still available. This does have SLS in it, and it did the job. I couldn't really complain, neither did I have anything good to say. Not recommended. Now this L'Oreal Extraordinary Clay, I'm actually going to recommend this with a bit of a caveat. I really loved using this, and I mentioned that it was SLS free, but then somebody, like a comment on one of my videos, was telling me about how the American one is SLS free, I guess, and the Indian one is not. And I had both. Like, if you go Extraordinary Clay, I had the one that was released in US also, and the one in India just that year. It was really weird that I had both of them. This is the shampoo that I love for when it gets hot out, because that clay does calm the scalp, and I think it works better than the Head and Shoulders one for sure, and it helps my scalp not get greasy very soon, because I definitely have the greasy scalp, dry ends kind of issue. I liked it, but again, the SLS issue is going to make me question whether to repurchase it. I don't know if I have to purchase shampoo right now, but I am gonna try Shampoo Bar really soon, so I'm very excited about it. Like, I already have Shampoo Bar, but I've not started using it. Feels like mentally I have to prepare myself for that transition. I've transitioned from using shower gels back to using soap bars, and it's the best thing ever. One of my main reasons to do that was to sort of decrease my single use plastic usage whenever I can. If shampoo bars work out for me, then that'll be amazing. If you guys have tried any decent shampoo bars available in India, especially ones that target like itchy, flaky, greasy scalps or something, then I would love your recommendations in the comments. And yeah, that is all for hair, and now we are going to move on to the next category, which is skin. Always fun to talk about skincare, and yes, I do have the most skincare. I've been saying that consistently for every MT's video that I've done in the last 2 years or so. So it should not really come as any surprise. The first thing that I have is from L'Oreal Paris. Wow, this can looks really beaten up. This is their UV Perfect Aqua Essence City Face Mist UV Protector. So this was basically a spray on sunscreen with SPF 50, broad spectrum I believe, and it also says it's alcohol free. This seemed like a really cool product. It's really hard to reapply sunscreen, and also I'm lazy to apply sunscreen in the first place, which is not a good thing. So the spray form factor just seemed really ergonomic, handy for lazy people. So I thought this would work, but I didn't really like using it. Firstly, I'm not sure if you can get a reasonable amount of coverage from a spray sunscreen. I would hold it pretty close and put it on like reasonably thick, because if you put it on thin, it's not going to help at all. You know, you need a proper coverage of sunscreen. Whenever I sprayed this on, it just felt like I was inhaling all of the gases in the aerosol can more. Like, you're spraying it on your face, you can't really not inhale that, and it didn't feel great. Overall, this is a product that works more in theory, but actually doesn't live up to its claims in real life, and it also had a really strong fragrance. I would definitely not be repurchasing it. I'm still having so much trouble starting a sunscreen routine. I'm still not there yet, and I know I have to, so I feel guilty about it. Are you guys good with sunscreen? It's supposed to be one of the like cornerstones of a skincare routine. I just can't get it down. Now, I don't know if I should have put this in makeup. There's no makeup category this time, but I have one micellar water from Garnier. This is the oil infused yellow one, which is basically like biphasic with a little bit of oil and micellar water, and you had to combine them and then use it. Now, I know this one got crapped on a lot by the beauty community as one of the duds from Garnier's micellar lineup, but I actually really liked it. Even if I am in a minority here, there was a strong fragrance for sure, and that part of it was off-putting, but it does work better than just a micellar water at removing waterproof makeup. So if you wear waterproof makeup in like your eye region, especially mascara, this one was really effective at removing it, you know, like really good, and it just doesn't get enough credit. So I enjoyed using it for that purpose. I wouldn't like use it on my whole face or anything, but eyes and lips, it did a really good job. If you're looking for a decent eye and lip makeup remover, I would recommend this one. Like, I can't complain. And now on to a face wash. I don't know if me including this face wash here is cheating, but this is the Garnier Drops of Light face wash, and this one I used it little bit, and mostly I gave it to my mom. My mom has skin completely the opposite to mine, and it's not just the age thing. She just has no acne and normal to dry skin, and I have sensitive, acne prone, oily skin. She used to hate using face washes because she always felt like they dried her out, and like, you know, her face was fine even without using a face wash, and she felt like she started getting like skin issues after using face washes. So I make sure to always give her like a really creamy face washes. They work amazingly for her, and she really loved using this one. So this is supposed to be from their brightening lineup. I've actually reviewed it, and if you use it with all of the other products in the lineup, the Drops of Light one, then it can definitely like fade dark spots and stuff. Nothing extreme, but it does have some targeted ingredients. However, just using the face wash on its own, it's not really going to give you those like brightening effects. It was just really creamy, and little went a long way with this. So you may think, okay, this face wash is a little expensive, but it'll last you a really long time. She loved using it, and she was sad to like finish it up. And I also use face washes like this, but only in the winter time when my skin kind of goes normal to dry. Other times I prefer something more lightweight or like a gel. I do recommend this if you have normal to dry skin. I have one toner here from ITC's Dermafique brand, and I remember Bharti from the Crazy Pop Lock originally recommended this toner when it had just come out, but after that they've done a lot of like, you know, influencer content and all, but that time I really have to give a shout out to her for recommending it. This is an alcohol-free toner, I believe. It does have glycolic acid, and it's also really affordable. Is a pretty amazing toner. It does have a fragrance. That's pretty much the only downside I can find. It's just really nice, and I liked using it. I'm not repurchasing any face product this time because I'm trying to get through my stash, and I've also simplified my routine so much. It's just a very basic no frills routine now, and it's working for me. So I'm going through the things I have much slower. If I was looking for a new toner, I would buy this in a heartbeat. And if you guys are looking for a new toner at like pretty much any budget, I would absolutely recommend this one. It is amazing. Speaking of glycolic acid, I have one serum from Pixi. This is their Glow Tonic serum. So it's like the range that builds off their famous Glow Tonic glycolic acid toner. They have a whole range infused with glycolic acid, and I've tried the whole range. I have to say, this just did not agree with me. I think it might just be an AHA thing. I have oily skin, so my skin is more suited to BHAs. When I used this would sort of break my skin out, and initially I thought it was purging, but I kept at it for a couple of weeks, and there was definitely a connection. Me continuing to use this and my skin sort of not being happy, being angry, being broken out. And even though I'm prone to acne, I can definitely tell when I'm getting acne in reaction to a product. It's just different. It's not the normal kind of acne, and you can tell like something that I'm doing externally is making my skin unhappy. However, this was not a waste. I asked my mom to try it. Again, hers is the more mature, normal to dry skin, and glycolic acid or AHAs in general are recommended for her. She used it and she liked it a whole lot more. So it's a no from me, but it was a yes from her. I like the texture of the tonic. You know, it's a nice, like a thicker serumy texture. But alas, this just didn't work for me. Now I'm going to move on to something that really worked for me. From Paula's Choice, this is the Boost 10% Azelaic Acid Booster. I've raved about this on so many occasions. And this also has licorice and salicylic acid, which is a BHA. So everything that my skin loves, really. And this is not the first azelaic acid based product that I tried. I did try the Ordinary one initially, and that's what showed me that my skin really loves azelaic acid. Apparently it can help all skin types. It helps with minimizing acne, minimizing redness, minimizing like a really large open pores, and also just a natural brightening kind of effect apparently. I just know that my skin becomes clearer and nicer when I include this in my routine on a regular basis. This is definitely a little pricey. I think that if you can afford it, this is a worthwhile purchase. However, it's hard to tell whether it will work for you also. Skincare is so subjective, so you need to try, and you need to try for 4-5 days at least before you get an idea, you know, maybe longer. But I will repurchase this at some point in the future, not right away, but I know that this works amazingly well for me. I wish the Ordinary would come to India. Theirs is more cheaper, but the formula of the Paula's Choice one is infinitely better, and it's got this nice light cream texture that you can apply as is. It's almost like a serum cream, or you can mix it with a moisturizer. If you guys just want to try it, they do have a smaller size available. It's great to just get an idea of whether it might work for you or benefit you in any way. And now on to the last couple of skincare items, which are just some moisturizers. From Etude House, I have their Soonjung Hydro Barrier Cream. I like all of Etude House's Soonjung products because they're formulated for my skin type. So if you have sensitive acne prone skin, all of the Soonjung line would work amazingly well for you. This one is pure and mild and hydrating, fragrance free. I love the texture of it. It was like a nice gel, and it was really definitely very soothing. And it's a barrier cream, so it's supposed to help with compromised skin barrier and just help with repairing and moisturizing and soothing. I like this. I think it's great for any kind of sensitive skin, pretty much any weather, because in summer, in warmer weather, you can go a little lighter. This would work in winter also, just a little bit more maybe. This was a pleasure to use, and you know, my mom also used it and she also liked it. So this is one of the things that will make people of different skin types happy, and I would recommend it. Now this is a tester. This is the Laneige Water Bank Gel Cream, but this tiny tester lasts a surprising amount, so I think I can talk about it. Another really nice gel moisturizer, but this does have a fragrance, so that's a little bit distressing. I don't know why they do that. Just like a luxurious feeling gel moisturizer. It's maybe not going to change your skin or anything, but it feels nice and it'll probably keep your skin happy. Don't know if I would go so far as to recommend it from a tiny tester, but I think it's quite nice, and you often like get Laneige stuff online in little kits and combos. So that's a fun way to get like mini size products and try many different things from their lineup. I think Laneige does have some really nice things. It is mildly pricey, but usually the quality justifies the price as well. On to body category. So I just have two things for this category, and the first is a Bath and Body Works shower gel. The fragrance of this is Sensual Amber, and also has shea and vitamin E. This really solidified for me that I don't like Bath and Body Works shower gels. I feel like I might be in a minority here because I know they have a very loyal fan following. I like nice smelling things. I just feel like Bath and Body Works lays on the fragrance so heavy-handedly. I definitely prefer brands like Body Shop, where the fragrances are more natural, more muted. You can definitely smell it, but your bathroom doesn't reek. This one didn't sit right with me. I don't love amber. I'm just not a fan of these shower gels. Anyway, I'm happy with my bar soap right now, so I'm gonna continue using that. And I feel like I'm kind of over the brand. I don't know, like initially I used to be very excited about it. Now I just see their sale or anything and I don't even get enthused. Second body thing is a disposable razor, but this is definitely one of the best disposable razors I've ever used in my life. This is from a Japanese brand called Kai. I just found it randomly at home. I believe it was in like a toiletry kit from when my dad was working in Japan a few years ago now. And I used this and my heart sang, because this will really show you that all disposable razors are definitely not made alike, and I was just using random disposable razors from India. But when I tried this, I loved it so much that I did buy more from the same brand. So I didn't get the exact same one, but basically bought this one. And Kai just makes some of the best razors I've tried in my entire life. This one probably remained sharp for like 4 or 5 times the amount of a normal razor, but it also never really cut me or didn't shave so close that my skin was burning. It was just amazing. I am gonna leave a link to the new razors that I bought, and they also make some of the best face razors I've ever tried. I've already raved about those face razors on numerous occasions, but I'm gonna rave again, and I'm gonna link to you guys again, because if you take like one product recommendation away from this video, try those face razors. They will change your facial hair removal game. They're so good. And now we're on to the final category, which is miscellaneous. This is sort of a wildcard category where I want to discuss something in an empties, but it doesn't fit very obviously in any of the previous categories. And the first thing I have is this Gala of London nail polish thinner. I really liked using this because I like doing my nails at home. I bought a few OPI nail polishes. I believe I bought these towards the start of last year, like 3 or something, and I've been using them so long. I'm really determined to see these bottles to the end, and it always happens with me, like halfway through a bottle it starts getting thick and goopy. So this thinner is amazing. Just add a little bit of it in and it kind of restores the consistency of your nail polish. It won't be exactly like new, but it just thins it out and makes it like much more easier to use. This finished up and I was having a hard time finding more of these. It is available on the website, I think, but otherwise not easy to find. Ultimately, I started thinning my nail polish with my nail polish remover itself. It's kind of working out fine for me. I remember reading this article many years ago that said you should never thin your nail polish with acetone or with nail polish remover because it's gonna damage the nail polish, and you know, you use it to remove your nail polish, so what's the logic in putting it in the bottle? But then nail polishes are basically made up of pigment, which is the color, and solvent, which is what the color stays suspended in. And the solvents are usually like alcohol based and they dry up when you open the bottle, so you need to keep depositing solvent back in. And acetone or nail polish remover, they are both solvents, so either one of them should do the trick. I did enjoy using these, and I would recommend having a nail polish thinner around it, specifically if you buy like nice quality nail polishes. Then you know you should get your money's worth from them. But whatever nail polish remover you're using should also work fine. I really like the Color Bar one. That's what I'm using right now, and I already have backups of it because it's amazing. It is an acetone free nail polish remover that still works as efficiently as acetone without actually drying out or damaging your nail. I really can't believe how good it is, you know. And the final product for this empties is something kind of different that I was excited to discuss. And this is a herbal supplement from this brand called Cosmix. I think they started just in 2020, but they have a bit of a cult following online on Instagram, and they make these supplements for different things, like for skin and hair. And there's this one for like hormonal imbalance and stuff. There's one for sleep, there's one for stress, and the one I got is the Happy Gut variant because this has prebiotics and probiotics that will just restore your gut health. And I've discussed before that I really believe gut health is the key to many more things. Like, I know that if my gut is on the fritz, then my skin also breaks out more, and there's definitely a connection. And I started taking this when I had just got off a course of antibiotics, and antibiotics are great at dealing with any serious infection because I had got a really bad throat infection a couple months ago, but they really do wreck your gut always. And this just worked amazingly. I used to have 1 teaspoon of it in warm water first thing in the morning, and I did that really consistently. I definitely think this helped, and the fact that it has all like herbal stuff is just amazing. It does finish off pretty quickly, and I think at the price point it does turn out to be quite expensive, especially if you want to continue using these on a long-term basis. It is going to cost a pretty penny, but then also like good things and good ingredients do cost money. So I think it is a matter of deciding whether you really think that these help you. I think this helps me, but I don't think I'm gonna continue using Happy Gut for now. It was a good experience though, and if you've been considering buying one of their mixes, I would say go ahead. They have consistently good feedback from people, and they're also very communicative on their Instagram, so that's something I like. They constantly share recipes and they love talking to people. They recommend things honestly. I think this was nice, and I'm gonna try their matcha next. I already have it, so that's something I'm looking forward to trying. Maybe sometime in the future I will try their What Women Want supplement. That's the one for like women's hormonal issues and stuff. It sounds really interesting. That was my 2 cents on Cosmix, and with that we end today's empties. I feel like this was a shorter empties, but you know, I could be wrong. I hope you guys enjoyed watching it, and do you have any thoughts at all on any of the products or anything else I said? I would love to hear them in the comments down below, so let's continue this chat over there. Thanks for watching, and I will see you guys in my next video.